You're watching TOONDISE, your cartoon paradise. Get your game on. The 1-hour season premiere of Pokémon TCG Online starts right now. Hey everyone, Scott here, and welcome to Let's Play Pokémon TCG Online Season 3! Yes, we are back. Not only was an all-new season of episodes, but also with an all-new version of Pokémon TCG Online. A lot has changed with the game over the past several months. So, in tonight's season premiere, I will be showing you guys how to get the new version, how everything has changed, and essentially where all of the new features are located. We won't have any time to get into any battles or card pack openings tonight, but hopefully by the end of this episode, you guys will have a bit of a better understanding of how the new version works, where everything is, and that way you can get in the game and start having some fun. So, let's get started. Right now, I'm at the all-new PokemonTCG.com, and as you can see, the website itself has received a complete graphical overhaul. It actually looks pretty nice. And the reason why I'm here right now is because you have to go to the website to download the new version of the game. If you guys remember, the old version was browser-based. That meant that you needed to go to the PokemonTCG.com website, use whatever browser you had, whether that was Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari, you name it, and you needed to have Adobe Flash installed, and you accessed the entire game on the PokemonTCG.com website itself. The problem with that was because the game was created based off of the Flash platform, there was an extreme amount of lag. In fact, the longer you played the game, the slower it got, and eventually it would just get to the point where you would have to close out of your browser, restart it, and reload the whole game from scratch. Very frustrating, to say the very least. So, the developers, the Pokemon Company International, they decided to move away from Flash and create a brand new, standalone, downloadable version of the game, and it actually is pretty great because the slowness issue is completely gone. There are no more issues with lag. So, that being said, I'm at the website right now, and I will go ahead and log in. Now, one thing I want to mention, they actually fixed this login button in the bottom right corner here. It now actually says the words login on it. So, great job, guys. That definitely needed to be fixed. Okay, so once I have logged in, you can see a status bar at the top of the screen. It shows my level. I'm a level 1. Levels have not yet been integrated into the official game, so we'll have to wait a couple of months, see what that eventually means. But for the moment, I think everyone is level 1, so at least we're all equal in that way. To the right of that, I've got my customized avatar. Then I've got my username, Dialga Champion. If I click on that, it gives me an option to visit my Pokemon Trainer Club account at Pokemon.com, where I can spend tokens on updating my Pokemon.com avatar and access all my settings and whatnot from there. To the right of that, we've got all of my resources. Number of tokens, gems, booster credits, and tournament keys. Gems and tournament keys, like the level feature, they have not yet been added into the game, but here is what we do know. You will be able to spend real money purchasing gems, and you can then exchange those gems for special in-game items. I'm not sure if that includes booster packs or special promo cards or whatnot, but you will be able to do that with gems. Tournament keys are used to get you into official PokemonTCG.com online tournaments. So again, the tournaments feature is not available yet, but when it does become available later on, you will definitely want to get a couple of keys. For the moment, I'm just going to click the play button, and it takes me to this page to download the Pokemon Installer.msi setup file. Now, there are a couple of things that I do want to point out here. First off, the file size. The file size of the installer itself is 175 megabytes, but after you've installed the game and patched it up to the latest version, the total amount of hard drive space that's going to be used up is a little more than a gigabyte. So, not too much of a problem with today's modern computers, but I do want to point that out to you guys. Just so you know, we are getting into real MMO hard drive space sizes now. And obviously, as new patches are released for the game in the future, it's going to take up even more room. The second thing that I want to point out, as of right now, there is no Mac version available for the game. So, if you're running a PC with Windows, fantastic. However, if you're using a Mac, sorry guys, you're out of luck at the moment. So far, there is no firm release date on a Mac version of Pokemon TCG Online. The only thing we know for sure is the developers are trying to push out a Mac version by the end of the year. Now, obviously they are very busy right now working on the Windows version, trying to get all the bugs and glitches fixed, so please remember to take that with a grain of salt, because obviously release dates can get pushed back. So for the moment, if you guys are using an iMac or a MacBook or another Mac computer, your eyes are going to have to wait it out, or you'll have to download Parallels or Boot Camp and use that to get Windows on your Mac temporarily. And even after you do that, I'm not 100% sure if the game is going to run as it should. There may be some unexpected issues with game performance. But anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know where the Mac version is at as of this moment. So anyways, if you're on a PC right now running Windows, you want to download the game, you click the download button. And I'm in Internet Explorer right now, so it's actually popping up a small box at the bottom of the screen here. Do you want to run or save Pokemon Installer.msi? Now, if you want to go ahead and get that installed, you just go on over to the Run button and click it. I'm not actually going to go through the process of downloading and installing it for two reasons. First off, I've already done that, and I've already gotten the game installed and patched up on my end. But second, the Pokemon TCG Online servers can be a bit slow at times, So, for instance, right now, if I were to download the installer, even though it's only 175 megabytes, it'll still take 15 minutes to download the file. And I don't think you guys want to sit here for 15 minutes waiting for the download to complete. So, that being said, I'm just going to leave that for the moment. I'll click cancel. Now, once you've gotten the game downloaded and installed and patched up to the latest version, you're actually going to get a shortcut listed on your desktop background for launching the game. So, I'm actually going to close out of Internet Explorer, and as you can see, the shortcut is right here, Pokémon Trading Card Game Online. So, I will double click that, and it pops up with the login screen. So, I'll go ahead and enter my password. Now, unfortunately, there's no option to remember your password automatically, so you have to enter it manually every single time. But, what can you do, right? So, I will go ahead and log in. Now, even though I've downloaded the program to my computer, as you guys just saw right there, I still need to be connected to the internet, because what the program does is it connects to your online Pokemon TCG server account, and it pulls all of the information related to your account off of the server and then relays it to you in the actual client program right here. So that's how it's able to display how many tokens you have, how many gems you have, booster credits, tournament keys, and that's how it also is able to take all of your cards in your collection and relay that information into the program, showing you all of your cards, all of your custom decks. So you do still need a high-speed internet connection in order to run the game. Now, as you can see, once you've logged in, it takes you to the main play screen, and there are 3 different areas here. We've got the middle of the screen, which shows the Trainer Challenge, Versus Mode, and Tournament Mode. We have the menu bar at the top of the screen here, showing you a bunch of different options. And we have the public chat box all the way in the bottom left corner here. So I will go over explaining every single feature one at a time. This will take a while, so I hope you guys will bear with me. Let's start with the simplest feature, and that is the chat box. So, in the bottom left corner here, we have public chat, and we have a down arrow. This allows me to toggle between showing and hiding the chat box. To the right of that, we have a plus sign. If I click on that, it gives me an option to join another chat room. So, for instance, I can choose Lobby 4, click OK, and it will join me to the chat room that I've selected. Now, I can actually be a part of multiple chat rooms simultaneously, so I can go ahead, toggle back and forth between the different chat rooms I have available. In the bottom left corner, there is an option for canned chat. So if I click on that, it gives me an option to select a preset message in case I don't want to type out my own message in the chat box. So let me just pick one here. Let's see. Emotions. And I'm happy. And woot! There we go. And to the right of the canned chat button is the emoticons button. So, I can click on that, and I have a bunch of different emoticons to choose from. And of course, alternatively to that, I can go ahead and just type my own custom message here, hit enter, and there we go. It's displayed to everyone in this particular chat room. So that takes care of the chat box. I'll just close out of this extra lobby. And one thing I do want to note is the chat box is displayed on every screen all throughout the entire game. So you are pretty easily able to use it and just type a quick message and talk to other people no matter what screen you're on. So that's pretty cool. At the top of the screen, we have my username, Dialga Champion. We also have the play button. That takes me to this screen that I'm on right now, between selecting the single player trainer challenge versus mode for taking on computer opponents with my own custom decks and battling other people from around the world, and tournament mode, which is currently unavailable at the moment. To the right of that, we have the profile button. This shows me such things as my in-game achievements and my collection statistics. We have the avatar button. This is where you choose your in-game avatar. Right now, there is no custom avatar option available. The developers are still working on introducing the avatar builder, where you can design your own custom avatar, but for the moment you have to choose from a default avatar. To the right of that, we have the collection button. This is where you can access all of your cards. You also go to your collection tab to open booster packs and theme decks that you purchase from the TCG online shop. To the right of that, we've got the deck manager. This is where you build custom decks using your own cards for use in multiplayer battles in versus mode. We also have the trade button, which is also unavailable at the moment, but when the trading feature is finished, you'll be able to go here and trade cards with other people from around the world. We have the shop button. This is where you go to spend your booster credits on buying booster packs and getting new cards added to your online collection. The notifications button, this is where if someone sends you a private message, you go here to read it and respond to it. Next, we have the chat button. If you go here, it shows you all of the people that are currently online. It also lists your friends, if any of them are on at the moment. You can add other people as your friend. You can also choose to ignore certain users. To the right of that, we've got the options button for changing different in-game settings like display resolution and music and sound volume. And last but not least, we have the help button, and this is where you go to look at frequently asked questions, to submit an in-game bug report, that type of thing. Now, the next set of options here, basically the same thing that's displayed on the Pokémon TCG website. It shows you the number of tokens you have, gems, booster credits, and tournament keys. And the last button here is to exit the game. If you're actually in a TCG online match, this button will be a concede button instead of an exit button. So if you click on that, obviously you will concede the game to your opponent and you will exit out of the match. But keep in mind that when you do that, it does count as a loss on your record, and obviously the opponent will win the game, so just be careful when you're using this button. So, that takes care of the menu bar. Next, let's go into detail on the play screen itself. Obviously, tournament mode is out for the moment, but I will start with the single player trainer challenge. And for those of you who have played the trainer challenge before when it was browser based, not much has changed, to be honest with you. So, as you can see, I'm on the main trainer challenge screen. And I will go ahead and click start. and it takes me to this screen where there are several different options available. Starting on the left here, I can choose which league I want to challenge. Obviously, there are 3 leagues: Gold, Platinum, and City Championship, all escalating in difficulty. A new feature of this version of the Trainer Challenge is you can actually choose the difficulty of your opponents in each league individually, ranging from beginner all the way up through expert, if you really want a challenge. One thing that I do want to point out, the Diamond League is gone. Before you had Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and City Championship. Now it's just Gold, Platinum, and City Championship. So they cut out one league, but you still have to defeat 12 opponents in one league to advance to the next league. So that's all that there is to say on that. Next, you can choose which preset theme deck you want to use to challenge the opponents in a league. In my case, I've used basic red for most of the Gold League, but there are different options as well: basic green, basic blue. And on the right side of the screen, it shows you some statistics as well. You can see how many overall wins you have and how many deck unlocks you've made. Obviously, if you win consecutive matches in the same league, you unlock better cards for your theme deck. And actually, I think it will show me if I click view. There we go. So it shows me all of the different cards in my deck. I can scroll between all of the energy, trainer, and Pokemon cards that I have here. I can also sort them using these different tabs at the top if I want to just look at the Pokemon, or the trainers, or the energy cards, or a combination thereof. It also shows the type of coin associated with the deck, in this case Red Arceus, the card back of the Pokemon cards itself, which in this case just a standard card design, and a standard playmat. And if I click the history button, it shows me my deck unlocks and which cards were removed and which cards were added into the theme deck by me using the theme deck and defeating computer opponents. So I can actually go back and view all of the different cards that I used to have and which cards were given to me to replace them. So that's actually pretty cool. So let me close out of that. Okay, and it also gives me an option to select my opponent. So, as you guys can see here, with the Gold League, you start off battling Zach. There's a bit of a biography on the right side here, giving you some info on each computer trainer. And I've made it up to Game 11 against Mick. And so far, I'm not going to do any matches against computer opponents in the Trainer Challenge, primarily because I already went through the whole thing back when it was a browser-based game, and I don't really want to go through it again, if you know where I'm coming from here. The other thing that you'll notice with each opponent, if you've battled them at least once, it'll show you what types of Pokemon that opponent will be using in that battle. So, in this case, if you're battling Penelope, she's using a Water and Psychic deck. Ella is using a Normal and Fighting deck, so it gives you a bit of strategy. But as you can see with Mick, because I haven't battled him yet, it doesn't display which Pokemon types he's using. That pretty much covers the Trainer Challenge. I think it still works in a similar way, where if you complete defeating a certain number of people with a certain deck, then it unlocks that deck for use in multiplayer matches against other people on the line. But I do know a couple of people have posted that the theme deck unlocks are not working 100% at the moment. But hopefully that'll get fixed as new patches roll out in the coming weeks and months. Aside from that, deck unlocks are pretty much the same. I think they're sped up a little bit because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think before you used to have to defeat 10 or 11 of the 12 opponents and you would get a new card added to your deck to replace a default card throughout the first 10 trainers, but now, as you can see, there's only 7 unlocks, so a couple of things have changed, but for the most part, the trainer challenge has stayed the same. So, moving on, I'm going to go back up to the play button here, and next we're going to talk about versus mode. So, let me click next. This is where you battle against the computer using your own custom decks, because in the trainer challenge you can't customize any of the cards in the decks. You're forced to use whatever cards are given to you. So here you can actually test your custom decks against computer opponents. You can also battle random people from around the world, and you can also battle your friends, which is a brand new feature in the game. Pretty cool that they finally added that in. So let's start off with player versus player. So we can actually select which type of game you want to play. So whether that's against another human opponent in novice or expert mode, same thing as before. Novice games are more suited towards beginners. Expert games, if you win an expert match, then you get tokens used for customizing your Pokémon.com Trainer Club account avatar. We have Friend Battle, where I can select one of my friends, challenge them to a match. I can also search for a particular friend if I've got a long list here. And we've got Practice Battle, where I can practice against the computer, and just like in the trainer challenge, I can choose between one of 4 difficulty levels. We also have play type in the middle here. This is a new feature coming soon that will allow you to choose the style of the match that you want to take part in. Next, we have the deck that you're going to use. So in my case, I've got several custom decks saved here. None of them are 100% complete. I'm still working on all of these, by the way. But it does give you an option to choose which deck you want to use. It shows you your custom deck box, which you can choose in the deck builder, the different types of Pokemon in your deck, whether it's legal, how many games you've played with the deck, and how many games you've won using the deck. So, pretty cool. There are also some filters above here that you can use if you have a ton of decks and you want to search for a specific one. You can filter it by Pokemon type or some of these advanced features that are still in development. And there are options here as well. Right now, I've got it set on custom decks. This is why there are 4 decks shown: Basic Yellow, Fireworks, Forest, and Thunderstorm. But if you get any theme decks, like in this case, Basic Red, you can go ahead and select that and use that as well. So, that pretty much covers versus mode, I believe. Yep, that's pretty much it. Okay, so now let's move on to the next feature, which is the Profile tab here at the top. And as you can see, it lists all of my in-game achievements. I can check all of my latest achievements here at the top. It also shows me my progress on other achievements at the bottom here. And I can also check out the list of all of my achievements, and as you can see, there are a ton of them. And there's also an edit account button at the bottom right corner here. If I click on that, as you can see, it brings me back to the PokemonTCG.com website. So I'll just close out of there. At the top, we have different options for leaderboards, which don't exist yet. Obviously, the achievement screen, game statistics, so it'll show me things like how much damage I dealt, how many cards I've drawn, how many hours I've played the game, and collection statistics for different sets, how many cards I've collected, number of holographics. So pretty streamlined as far as that's concerned. Next tab at the top is the Avatar tab. So, as I mentioned earlier, the custom avatar builder is not fully completed yet, so you have to select a default avatar, but pretty much you just pick the one that you want, you click OK, and it changes it on the right side here. So I'll just go back up and change it back to my regular one. Next up is the collection button. So if I go ahead and click on that, it gives me 6 different subcategories: cards, packs, items, which aren't available yet, cards that I've marked as being for trade, cards that I've marked as being wanted, and also cards that I've tagged as being under review. So, what's pretty cool is the way that you get to look at your cards. Let me show you that right now. So, I click on the Cards tab, and immediately it shows me this pretty neat interface here, which has all of my cards, and I can actually go ahead and scroll through them and pretty much get to see all of them in all of their amazing glory here. And you can also see which ones are holographic, like this Beartic that I have. There are also a ton of sorting filters available, so if you've got a ton of cards in your collection, you can sort them by Pokemon type, by stage of evolution, trainer cards, expansion set, rarity. You can actually choose some advanced features as well, such as retreat cost, attack cost, EXs, foils, all of that stuff. There are also other features as well for sorting. For instance, I can sort by energy type, or I could sort them by evolution chain. So, really a ton of options available, and I can also change how the cards are displayed in a carousel type view, in a tile type view, and also in the old-fashioned list view. And at the top here, it gives me the same options as were on the main collection screen. I can select packs. So if I buy a booster pack from the TCG online shop, it'll go in here, and this is where I go to open them up and add the cards to my collection. Same with theme decks. Items, which aren't available yet. And these other options here, I can actually mark cards as being for trade, wanted, or review, and then they'll show up in this particular screen. Let me see if I can show you an example of that. If I go back to all of my cards, let's pick Zebstrika here. And as you can see at the bottom, it says tag for trade, tag as wanted, tag for review. So let me click tag for review. There we go, and you see a small icon here. And if I then go to the review tab at the top, there we go. Zebstrika is listed here. This is actually a pretty cool feature because what it means is now if I go to the TCG online shop and I purchase a booster pack and I open it up, let's say out of the 10 cards in the booster pack, I see one or two that I definitely know I want to add to one of my custom decks. Now, I can go ahead, tag those cards as being under review, and then I can come to this screen later on and I know, oh, okay, I want to add Zebstrika to my electric deck, for instance. So it's a lot easier than before, when I would open up a bunch of booster packs and then I'd have to write down which cards I got in them that I wanted to add to my custom decks, so I wouldn't forget. So I'll actually click on this tag to remove it. There we go, it's gone. And that takes care of the collection tab. And another cool feature that I should mention, it shows you how many copies of each card you have at the bottom here. So in this case, I've actually got 3 of this particular Zebstrika in my account. So that is actually pretty cool. Okay, so next up is the deck manager. So if I click on that, it gives me the option for editing my custom theme decks. So, for instance, let me click on Thunderstorm here, and let me click the edit button in the bottom right. And here we go. At the bottom of the screen here, it shows me all of the cards in my entire collection. And on the top, we have all the cards that are in my particular deck. So, for instance, if I want to add, let's say, Blissey to my deck, what I'll do is I'll just click and drag it, move it to the top screen. If I want to remove a card, just click and drag it from the top screen to the bottom. It's actually that simple. So, for instance, click and drag. Okay, I need to pull that down a little farther. There we go. And same thing, Blissey, click and drag, and there we go. Right now it's showing all of the Pokemon cards I have in this particular deck that I created. I can also sort it based on trainer cards, energy cards, and I can also get a quick view of all of my cards in the deck. So, actually pretty neat. And if I wanted to save the deck, I would just go ahead and save it. For the moment, though, I'm just going to click Close, and yes, I know it has unsaved changes. Okay. And the same filters apply, so it makes it easy to find the cards you want and put them together into a deck. There's also an ability here called Deck Wizard. If you click on that, you can actually choose certain cards here, and let's see, to start your deck, pick up to 2 of your favorite Pokemon, so why not? Let me take Magmortar and Sableye. And I'll click Continue, and the Deck Wizard will build a custom deck for me here. As you can see, it just pieced together a bunch of Pokemon cards at the top. It's not perfect, I'm not going to lie, especially because there are 25 energy cards here, and usually 25 is way too many. But if you're in a rush and you don't want to take the time creating your own custom deck, you can just go ahead and use the Wizard. Okay, so that takes care of that. Next, obviously, the trade button at the top here doesn't work, so we're going to move on to the TCG online shop. And if I click on that, it takes me to the all-new in-game Pokemon TCG online shop, and it's really changed from the old version that was available on the website. As you can see, on the left side here, we have some advertisements on the latest featured items. In this case, Dragons Exalted. We have Dragon Speed and Dragon Snarl, the new Dragons Exalted theme decks. We also have areas on the right here for newest items and most popular items. Obviously, right now, what's most popular are the black and white packs. Dragons Exalted, Dark Explorers, Next Destinies. The cards tab at the top here, if I click on that, this is where it will actually let me purchase booster packs. So, obviously, if I want to get one, let me just click on, let's say, Dragons Exalted. On the right-hand side here, there's a description of the pack, so I can go ahead, read through all of that, and I can choose how many I want. So, let's say 10. Obviously, it totals it up, 10 booster credits. I've got 60 in my account at the top here, and I can just go ahead, click Redeem, and it will use up those booster credits and place all of these packs in my collection tab at the top here. So it's actually that simple. One thing I do want to caution you guys on, right now there's no confirmation screen. So as soon as you click the redeem button in the bottom right corner, it's not going to pop up with a screen saying, are you sure you want to spend X number of booster credits on these number of packs? So just be careful. As soon as you hit redeem, it is final. It will subtract the number of booster credits from your current total and add those packs to your collection immediately. And as you can see, there are tons of different packs available to get. And the same rule applies as before. Every pack comes with at least one rare card. The rest are a mixture of uncommons and commons. But you can sometimes get up to 3 rares in a pack. So the question is, are you feeling lucky? Okay. Anyways, there are also sorting options on the left side. So I can sort based on booster packs, theme decks, Black and White series, Heart Gold and Soul Silver series. So it's actually pretty neat the way they've set this up. Right now, there are no theme decks available to purchase, but that may change later on. And also, the other thing of note, as far as booster packs are concerned, previously with the old version, there used to be bundles. And you guys probably know what I'm talking about, where they would have like a Noble Victories bundle. You get 3 Noble Victories packs, a special coin, and a special promo card. So far, there are no bundles available in the new version. Like I said, as with theme decks, this will probably change in the coming months. They'll probably come out with some bundles and some new theme decks. But for the moment, there are none. So you'll just have to buy these packs individually and hold on until they get everything sorted out. On the top here, there are other options as well. Gameplay items, not available. Avatar items, not available either. This is where you redeem codes. Actually, pretty neat the way they've created this here. Before, you actually redeemed codes on the Pokémon TCG Online website. Now, you redeem them in the game client itself. Now, obviously, just like a ton of the other features that are still in development, this section is not fully complete as of yet. For instance, the QR code reader has not yet been integrated into this new version, so you still have to enter codes manually, one at a time. But what ends up happening is you enter the code here where it says enter codes manually. You click continue. It validates it on the right side here. And then you click the claim now button at the bottom here. And it will give you whatever is associated with that code into your account. Whether that's a booster credit, a theme deck, all of that fun stuff. So I'll actually be showing you guys how this works in tomorrow's episode, because we're going to open up some brand new Dragons Exalted and Dark Explorers booster packs. I am pretty psyched for that. We'll take care of that tomorrow, but for now we'll just pass by this feature. There's also an option here for buying gems, still under construction, and your account history page, that's also in development as well. The next tab at the top here, aside from notifications of course, is the chat tab. So if I click on that, it shows me all of my friends, Obviously, I have the option to ignore them and also remove them, though I don't think they would be too happy if I did that. There's also options here at the bottom for accessing the public user board. So here I can see everyone that's currently online. I can use the plus sign to add them as a friend. Same thing. I can ignore them, and I can also report them. And there's also a requests button here. If someone sends me a friend request, it'll appear in this area, and I can accept or deny it. So let me just use the arrow, close that. The options button, pretty standard options. You get to choose your screen resolution of the game client itself. You can switch between windowed and full screen mode. If you have a high-end graphics card, you can actually choose the best performance setting here, which is what I'm using. Fantastic. If your computer doesn't have the best hardware, then you may want to go with one of these other settings. Obviously, you won't get the best graphics quality in the game, but the game won't lag if you don't have the computer hardware to run it as fast as possible at maximum graphics quality. There are also a bunch of other options here for in-game battles. You can toggle card animations, attack effects, coin animations, evolution animations, tooltip hints. You can sort your Pokemon cards in your hand by energy type, stage, or evolution. You can also arrange energy cards, either the back of your hand or the front. And you also have audio options for music and sound effects. So, pretty much, they've got the whole thing covered. And obviously, the help button here, it shows you which version you're running, which version the server is currently running, and a bunch of generic options as well for helping new players get into the game. And that pretty much covers everything you need to know about the brand new version of Pokémon TCG Online. Questions or comments? Join the conversation on Twitter or on TOONDISE. Don't forget to subscribe to TOONDISE to keep up to date with new episodes of Pokémon TCG Online. And click the like button if you enjoyed tonight's episode. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8/7 Central for another brand new episode of Pokémon TCG Online. But first, make sure you check out an all-new Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal tomorrow morning at 11:30 in the Vortex on the CW. Until then, thanks for watching. For now, I'm Scott, and I'm signing off and asking you to get in the game.